2016 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo is about halfway through, and of course, traditionally round 6, we have the commissioner's press conference. We've got the PRCA commissioner here, Karl Stressman. Karl, a lot of news coming out today in the press conference and a lot of exciting things happening for the PRCA.
Fun stuff and good stuff too. I mean, it's always nice. Some years, in the past, we've been like, so what are we going to talk about? Because we were a little flat and things weren't exciting. But boy, the initiatives that seem like they have popped up this year and look like they're going to be strong for 17 are very exciting for the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association.
Absolutely, and the buzz is huge because we invite the top 15 ladies of the Women's Professional Rodeo Association into the PRCA for 10 nights at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, but they never get the credit of being able to participate and being outstanding members of the professional rodeo community. And that is changing next year as the PRCA has adopted the WPRA an agreement to allow them to be inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame.
Well, actually, they will have a separate part of the Hall of Fame deal. So when you go, but the advantage is obviously everybody. They will control their own Hall of Fame piece, and they will have a spot at the Hall of Fame there in Colorado Springs. What a great opportunity, because how many deserving women are out there that have, because they don't have one, why would you go through the expense or the trouble to build one? We got one, and we're great partners with them, have been for many, many years. We had a little spell a few years ago, but that's ancient history. We like what they're doing. They're very, very friendly in terms of when we go back and forth and trying to figure out what we're going to do with certain things. We are including them in conversations about, future tours and future, what are the events going to look like. So to have them be part of the Hall of Fame, I think is probably a no-brainer that I probably should have thought a long time ago, but it's exciting to have them in the induction ceremony for 17.
Absolutely, and let's stay on the women for just a minute, because last year there was a lot of turmoil about the conditions and the safety of the arena for the barrel racers, and you have adopted a executive committee and have completely redone everything. The change has been tenfold, where every night you're pushing arena records. You do not see that at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. What did you and your team adopt and change to make things safer for the women this year?
Well, I think last night or the night before, you had to be under 14 seconds to place.
13.79.
Yeah, when you start talking about 13.79 in the 6th hole, I got to tell you something's gone right. The credit goes to Sean Davis, the general manager. After years of kind of, talking about the situation, Sean Davis took it upon himself to say, look, we're going to correct the situation. We're going to do what's necessary to create the footing that these young ladies and those horses deserve at the Wrangler National Finals. And he went about it with a vengeance, and here we are. And to your point, good luck, ladies. You know what? You got to get under 14. You got to get under 13.8 to place. Okay, so it shows that he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He obviously talked to the ladies at the WPRA, and they came up with a program, and effectively certainly looks like it's working.
Absolutely, it does. And then a huge deal that we talked about today was the digital marketing era for 2017. That's been one of the main concerns this year from a lot of people through social media, that it's on CBS Sports Network and they have no way of watching it. You have already taken the head and said, I understand, folks, I'm sorry. Talk to us about what's going to change next year.
Well, this was the last year of the CBS contract, and the CBS contract that was signed, a few years back didn't really allow us to do any of that streaming ourselves. I don't think we were tuned into really what happens in the industry of the streaming industry. We had television, and it was effectively working, but we got a lot smarter very quickly when we started looking at what the opportunity presents itself when you're looking at streaming. We have an international stream going on right now with Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. We did have that last year, but we don't have any streaming this year in the U.S. That'll change in 17, I promise you. I guarantee you that, because it will change in 17. How it affects the overall attendance of the television on CBS, I don't know. But I know one thing. The inventory that creates for the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association is a very valuable piece of inventory. And for us to be able not to take advantage of that is a crime. And we didn't have any choices up till this point. And CBS had been a good partner, don't get me wrong. the facts are we need to control the destiny of that inventory, because that inventory, if you do the math on it, has tremendous opportunity financially for the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. And that's what we do, is to go through those kind of things when we're working at the PRCA, when people think we're not working, or we're playing golf or whatever they think we do. But we actually do think some of those things through and come up with a solution. So that is priority one for this year, is to try to figure out where we go and how we structure it, what the platform is, and how we roll that out for the benefit of everybody in the PRCA.
Absolutely, and you couldn't do it without huge sponsors. Wrangler and Resistol are great sponsors, but we're going to focus on Resistol right now because you gave us a story about this right here. It's a red, white, and blue feather, and there's a whole lot of background that personally involves you. So take us through that a little bit, and how that this red, white, and blue American Flag Resistol feather came to fruition for right here at the finals.
Well, I was fortunate, Allie and I were fortunate enough to go down to Rosenberg, Texas this summer and attend the first ever sanctioned single event, bareback riding, and it was a double, bareback and bull riding, and top 25 guys were down there. Bubba Blasting Game and his crew down there in Rosenberg, and the Cannons put on that deal. The proceeds went to the Navy SEAL, the widows of the Navy SEALs that were lost behind the lines in Afghanistan, and that is the basis for the story Lone Survivor. And we got a chance to hang out with those widows of those guys that gave their life to, and it was more than touching. It was. You're gonna have me crying here in a minute, but the facts are that there were some hand-painted feathers down there during that silent auction, and I said, Allie, don't let those feathers get away from us. There's something there. Just give me a couple of days to think it through, but I want those feathers to go home with us. So we did. And when we got home, I couldn't quite put it all together, but I knew there was something there that might be really big for the sport of professional rodeo. So, and like I said during the press conference, what people don't know about me is that my first 2 years at the University of Arizona, I was an art major. And I told them the only thing that kept me off the stage was a lack of talent, but that's, so anyway, I switched my major anyway. But so I have a little bit of artistic ability, and I mean a little bit. So I said, I got to figure this thing out. I could do that. I can paint those feathers. So she went to Hobby Lobby, like I said, and got me a bunch of stuff. So I had red stuff, blue stuff, white stuff, and feathers, and blah, blah, blah. It took me a little bit to kind of figure out how you would do it and do it correctly, but I did. So I painted a dozen of them. That was just before the 4th of July, a few days before the 4th of July. And Allie and I have a big combined family, so a lot of our kids were there. And I gave all the kids, they're all adult children, but all of our adult children, our grandkids, a feather. And they all put it in their hats immediately. And so this whole 4th of July weekend, my whole family had feathers in their hats. And I thought it was just a cool deal. And that's really where it ended for me. Mm-hmm. Here it is. The unfortunate part about it was that every time I went somewhere, somebody asked me about that feather in my hat, and I didn't have a really good explanation for it other than I was just a proud American, and I'm a rodeo man, and I wear a feather because I'm proud of this country. And during the election, debates and the nastiness that was going on, I'm thinking, man, is this who we are? And I came to the realization that really the red, white, and blue is what drives this. Those are the two colors of the sport of professional rodeo. We are the original American sport, and we need to make sure that the world knows that that's who we are, especially in today's world. This is just my opinion, so if anybody wants to criticize me, knock yourself out, but I'm going to tell you, this is what I believe in. So I saw Ricky Boland. I was down at an event in Salado, Texas about September, I think, or October, 1st of October, I guess. And I ran into Ricky Boland, who's a very close friend of mine and the CEO of Resistol Hat Company. I said, hey, Rick. And he said he saw it before I said anything to me. He goes, what the heck? What's that? What's the feather deal? And I go, well, I was going to talk to you about that because I want to talk to you about what if we did this? What if we had 10,000 of these at the finals, or 20,000 of them, and we gave them out during Patriot Night? We're the only guys that can pull this off because we're the only guys that wear hats. You ain't gonna put that in a cap or a stocking cap or something like that. You gotta wear a cowboy hat to be part of this deal. Well, he loved it. So he said to me, you know what, man, we're in. So hence, boom, 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 we went as fast as we could to get him in. Ricky's producing those. As you can see, this this is going to go to the committees. We announced this Tuesday at the State of the PRCA address, and the committees flooded us with demand for these feathers. This year in 17, certainly after the 1st of January, Ricky and Resistol will be producing these things. Now you can see there's a $5. It's a $5 donation. So if you find one, you give them $5, you get this feather and this card. Half the money stays with the rodeo committee, half the money goes to a local military charity that you choose to have. It really borders on Tough Enough to Wear Pink. I was involved in that early on. The money stays in your local community as it should. National organizations, I got nothing against them, but you know the guy that runs a foundation in your area, then you know exactly where it goes. That's all I need to say. The world understands that. But I would love for the committees to put this into the added money of the Cowboys, because if we don't have our Cowboys participating, it won't be as big as everybody wants to emulate those Cowboys that are in that arena. I mean, that we wear the same clothes they do. I think this is a great promotion. Again, Ricky Boland, my hat's off to Resistol on those guys for partnering with the PRCA in this deal. But I think it's going to be a huge part of what the American flag means to the sport of professional rodeo.
Absolutely, and all of us at Rodeo Roundup really can't wait to get our hands on them, because I would wear it proudly as a veteran myself. So.
Sir, yeah, it's one of sometimes the best ideas come over some period of time when when you finally wake up and go, oh, here it is. Yeah. I get it now. Yeah,
absolutely. A lot of things going on. A lot of people want to talk to you. So thank you so much for taking some time with us. Roundup.
Thank you for letting me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Hetland here. 2016 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo in the PRCA Commissioner's Press Conference just ended right here with PRCA Commissioner Karl Stressman.